Okay, there we go. All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Yappily Ever After. I feel like it's been just a quick moment since we last saw you, but we're always recording on Fridays, so it's like nice and relaxed and kicked back. We've had a good week, and we're ready to just yap it up together. And we have a fun little episode today. I'm your host, one of your hosts, Hannah Roze, the founder, CEO of Plannerd.
And I'm your other host, Sarah Peterson, head of marketing for Plannerd.
Wow. Okay, tell us what we're getting into.
We have so many things today, so many things. Okay, I think we're going to start with our new segment, which is trendy versus temporary. So the whole goal of this is like, do we think these trends will last 5 years down the road?
Oh, that's a long time.
I know, 5 years, especially in the wedding industry. I'm like, I feel like the trends change pretty much like every other year at least.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see. First one is multi-day wedding weekends.
This has been going strong for a while. I feel like, especially with the rise of destination type weddings, or at least weddings that are drawing people from all over the country or all over the world. I do think this is going to stay for a while because people want it to be worth it when you make everyone get on a plane, take off a day or two of work, and you want to give them something to come and really engage with. So I'm going to say it's going to stay for a good amount of time.
I'm on the same bandwagon. I think it's staying only because I think a lot of the trends, and like even these other ones that are upcoming, I think a lot of these are like the byproduct of like people looking at like how their parents' weddings went down and stuff. And like it used to be much more heavy on tradition and like all of the stuff that necessarily it's not super fun. But now I think weddings are going in the direction of like people are doing what they want, and everybody who doesn't want a weekend away.
Yeah. I feel like the rehearsal dinner in its previous form, when it was more kind of exclusive and just the inner family, I feel like that kind of faded maybe like 10-ish years ago when I have like 19 first cousins. And so all of my cousins who got married way before me, who are older than me, they had that more traditional flow of like the rehearsal dinner, the wedding, and then maybe go over to their parents' house the next day for brunch. But it wasn't like the multi thing it is now.
I agree.
And I think it's been around for a while, and I think it's staying. So yeah.
I totally agree. Okay, the next one, kind of opposite of that actually, is micro ceremonies.
Huh. Now, would you say that where are we drawing the line on micro? Like, would it be?
That's a really good question. I would say a ceremony like under 20 people. The difference is like, I don't know, time wise, like, you know, is this like a weekend where you like rent a house with friends? Because then that puts it on the multi-day wedding weekend category. Or is it like we're going to City Hall on a Tuesday and like getting it done?
Yeah, I've seen multiple weddings over the past like year plus just that I've been invited to where they had a separate ceremony with just like parents and siblings, which I would consider to be a micro ceremony. And then the festivities and the reception came second.
Yes.
So I feel like, wait, I have to sneeze. No, I don't. Yes, I do. Okay. I feel like that is definitely been around for a little bit, but I feel like 5 years is a long time to retain that. So I'm going to say it might go.
I also think it could be, I think micro ceremonies as a whole are very dependent on like where the economy is at. And this is getting much more into like economics of things. But I think we saw a trend in micro ceremonies just because the cost of weddings, like it is no secret, it's out of control this day and age. And so I think that kind of caused this resurgence of micro ceremonies. So depending on where the economy gets to, hopefully better, then I feel like we'll see that fade out and people will start to like be more comfortable inviting more people and doing these bigger events like they used to.
Hi friends, popping in here very quickly to tell you that if you love what you're listening to, please hit subscribe, click the like button, tell the algorithm gods that you love what you're hearing so we can continue putting out more great free content for you. Okay, back to the episode.
Yeah, totally agree. Because sometimes the micro ceremony is the lead-in or like the first phase to a larger thing, and then other times that's the main thing. And I feel like we're sort of seeing both right now, where people are doing it as like a super intimate moment and then leading up to something bigger, but more and more people are doing both, which is sort of an interesting choice.
Yes, I totally agree. Unplugged ceremonies.
Unplugged ceremonies, I feel like there's always going to be a need to remind people that they need to put their phone away.
Yes.
But I do think it's gotten to the point where it's a little bit, I don't want to say corny, but like, don't we all know at this point, when you go to the theater, when you go to a live show or something, don't have your phone out. And I don't know how helpful those reminders truly are for people. And it's almost to the point where like when the officiant gets up there and is like, just as a reminder, turn your phones off. It's like, we know.
No. I think the signage around them, I think like 3-4 years ago, you saw those signs everywhere and it was more of like a new concept. You know, it's like, we're doing an unplugged ceremony. Now you see that sign and it's just like, we get it. Like everyone's been hounded by it. I do still think that like officiants for sure should definitely make note of it, especially for the older generations. And this is coming from a wedding vendor. It does not matter how many signs you put up. Someone's great aunt or someone will take out their phone. So
yeah, it's inevitable.
Reminding people, good, that's going to stay, especially because now everyone's on their phones. So I feel like it has to stay if you actually want no phones in your photos.
Yeah, it's sort of like a necessary evil where I want to leave it out because I want that moment to retain its romantic, like living in the moment type of thing. And the moment you say, even it's typically before the couple is even up there, but like it somehow, for me as an audience member, it kind of breaks the fourth wall of the wedding a little bit from like this flowing experience to be more of a staged production, which it is anyway. But I just wish we could live in that world that we don't have to say stuff like that, but it is necessary.
Have you been to one of the weddings where they give everybody like 30 seconds to take photos of the bride and groom?
I have been to a comedy show where they did that, but never where the comedian was like, get one where I'm doing like a really physical joke or something. But that's a good idea for a wedding. I've never seen that.
Like my favorite version of it, because it's not as like, I feel like everybody feels like they're being reprimanded like they're in like middle school. If you have someone sit there and be like, if I see a phone, I'm gonna lose it. But I like the way that officiants can like work it in there. And usually it's after like bride and groom are already up there and they're like, okay, everybody pull out your phones, like get a photo of the bride and groom. And then it's cute because bride and groom are like actually looking at you and it's not just like a side shot that you took like mid ceremony while everyone's just like stone cold and like not speaking. And so it's a little more fun and interactive. And then they can be like, okay, now that you got your photo, like everybody put your phone away. And usually it works. Usually it works, unless you have someone who like wants to like video record the whole thing, because that always happens too. But I like that. Okay, this one, I have a lot of thoughts on this one. Ballroom weddings shifting to experience-driven weddings.
Okay, yeah, you go.
Okay. And I think this is just from working in this industry for so long. We used to see a ton of ballroom weddings. Like it was 50-50 split on if someone was doing it in like an unconventional location or like a traditional ballroom. You know, usually it was like church service followed by actual ballroom or like, you know, hotel weddings. In the last 2 years, I can count on one hand how many hotel weddings I've had.
Wow.
I think that says a lot about where everybody's at currently. But going forward, I think this is a trend. So I think right now, experience-driven weddings are definitely the like forefront of everything. And just like everyone's really leaning into like creating like really unique experiences and stuff for their guests. I do think it will shift back to ballrooms and like the grand, you know, design of things that you can do in a ballroom. Once we get out of this phase, I do think it'll have a resurgence, especially because now they're not booking them. So those big, huge ballrooms and spaces are like trying to find ways to get people in. So I feel like those venues are going to end up developing like incentives or something to get people back into ballrooms. So
Yeah.
bring back ballroom weddings.
Totally. We just had a booth, a plannered booth at the Seattle Wedding Show. And so we're talking to hundreds of couples, primarily brides at the expo, but couples. And I want to say 90% of the people we spoke with were asking them, like, what is your venue? Do you have a date on the books? And they all it felt like almost every person was like, we're doing it outside. We're doing it at an unconventional location. And it made me think, at what point does that unconventional thing start to become, or just truly become, the norm that everyone has? And then, just like you're saying, the shift back to something that no one is doing now suddenly feels unique. It's like Gen Z discovering like wide leg pants. Okay, we did that already. Like, there's going to be a swing. So I agree. I think that's going to be changing in the next 5 years.
Did you see that gauchos are coming back? This is an incredible tangent, but I saw a girl the other day who was like, what are these? They're like short.
What are these?
And I was like, oh my God, they're gauchos. Like, they're gauchos. And they're like, oh, do we like them? I'm like, they don't even know what they are. Like, now I feel old. I feel like how my mom felt when gauchos came back for us.
Yes. Yeah. I'm not going to participate in that. I'm already going to say that. I'm not.
No, I can't. Okay. Content creators at weddings.
You know, I think this one might be here to stay. And I think we're actually just at the beginning of this as a thing. I feel like people are just bringing it into the norm of their vendor list, even in the past like 2 years. And I think it's going to become a staple of the vendor list for weddings.
Completely agree. We've talked about this before, but I surprised myself because I'm, for those of you who don't know, planning my own wedding for 2026. And originally thought that we would 100% go with like a videographer, because I'm a photographer. I just thought, I'm like, those are the two that like go together. And then I found this girl, and my wedding planner referred her, and she was like, honestly, she's almost like better than what you're going to find with a videographer. And like, she gives you all of the content. So like, because I'm a person who will be editing my own photos, want to use all the footage from my own wedding, she was like, I really think you're going to like her style. Once I went through her videos, I'm like, it's a whole new format, but I actually like it more just because I want to see the like, behind the scenes parts of the day, and not necessarily just like a music video of my day. I would much rather see like the goofy shenanigans going on behind the scenes. So I surprised myself, went with a content creator, and we are not doing a videographer. And after I did that is when I was like, like this is, it matches the format of the way that things are moving. And so I'm like, I think it might be here to stay. And I agree with what you said. I think this is just the tip of it. Like, they're not even recognized as like a vendor category on like the Knot or Wedding Wear, any of those yet. So
they're not. They aren't.
No, I think you could probably find them under like the videography category, but still they like need their own category because it's a different thing than video or photo. And a lot of times they combine the two. Like, I know she takes photos too, like iPhone photos. And so no, they need their own category. And I think this is like literally the tippy top of it, and it's going to spiral from here. Yeah.
It's not even just about the output that you get as the person like purchasing that vendor, where a typical videographer, that kind of that music video style, it's not even that people aren't wanting that as much. It's more the content, just like you're saying, where the style of video, it's not that it's going to be posted on social media. That's the draw. Although I think that is very relevant. I think it's more the content style that people are capturing, where it's more like a beautiful documentary in a very updated kind of mode, rather than like the 20,000 foot view on the day. Because everything was so staged before in the videography world that it was very picture perfect, just in like a moving camera. But the content, it makes it much more, I think your personality can be infused in it a lot more.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think that's what people want. And I think it's more fun to go through for the couple after the fact. I'm like, you'll have your entire day in all these little clips and stuff. That's way cooler than like, a 30-second video where you don't actually get to see much other than like very gorgeous. shots and things like that. Okay, next on the list, we have 2 more. Mix and match bridesmaid dresses.
You know, I saw we did a real wedding feature of Michelle and Jeff. And if you haven't seen that, you should check out the latest blog on Michelle and Jeff, who just got married in Florida. And I noticed that her bridesmaids' dresses were all the same color.
Yeah.
And it was sort of refreshing to see that again, because I feel like there had been a lot of mix matched dresses of colors and textures. And it's it's similar when everyone does something to try to be different and then it's the same.
Yep.
And so she like reverted back to the original thing that people were getting away from by doing the same. And it was now refreshing to see something different.
Yep.
So I think that we're going to start to see that revert back, or at least change in some way, maybe not an exact return back to what it used to be before. Like it hasn't been same color, same dress for a while, but it was maybe same color, different cut at one point. But I think we're going to see people try to mix that up or try on some different tones or somehow do it differently than just the exact same.
I agree. I fully agree. I think this specific element of weddings, bridesmaids, and groomsmen and stuff, I think that is like so trend specific. I think that is going to change every 2 years, no matter what.
Yes.
Like if it's mix and match now, in 2 years, I know it won't be. I don't know what it will be.
Yeah.
But I know it won't be what it is now.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's like one of the main trends that changes like rapidly. Just like last year, I look at it and I'm like, there's always some element of like decor. Like last year was definitely disco balls. The year before that was like pearls and ribbons and things like that. And so it's like there's always that one thing that can like, you know, you can tell exactly that like you got married between 2024 and 2026. Like you had disco balls 2025. Like you can pinpoint it. And I think that's what's going to happen with bridesmaid dresses as well.
I'm actually very pleased with what's happening right now, where it feels like we're having a maximalist moment, and I'm very much into that.
I'm thrilled that you said that, because our entire wedding is like, I didn't really go into it with like I kept saying, I was like, I don't want it to be one theme. I don't want it to be like pinned down to like this one vibe. And because of that, it's full maximalist. I'm like, okay, if you don't pin it down and you want everything and all the colors and everything, I'm like, we are full maximalist. Like that's the vibe of the wedding.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I love maximalist weddings. Okay, last one. Wedding favors. Do we think they're here to stay?
I feel like wedding favors have been out for a while, but the wedding, like the specific thing. And I feel like we've touched on this, where it's like, if it's a thing people are going to enjoy, I think that's here to stay. And I'm glad that we're going in that direction. I think the throwaway gift is out and has been out for a while.
I totally agree.
But I do think that in, just like you're saying with the kind of with the economic times, it's like, if you're going to splurge on flowers and you want your decor to be amazing, then maybe you're going to cut the gift and have that be something you don't do. Or I could see it where you might go kind of like middle of the road for both of those, but you still want to show that you made an effort to give them something cool to take home. So I think that's going to be a shifting form, whatever it is. But I think the concept of thanking your guests, giving them something memorable, and in this current day and age, I think it's like something memorable with an experience attached to it. And I know that you're doing something kind of in that vein. And I think that concept is here to stay for a while.
That was my exact thoughts on it, is I'm like, I feel like 5 years ago, you used to see like, you know, the little candles that somebody ordered on Etsy and like things like that like people didn't really care too much about taking. Or one of my biggest beefs is when people label stuff with their names. Not that I don't want to like take something else that says like, you know, so-and-so loves so-and-so on top. Like, no, but like, if I'm going to use it, I want to be able to use it outside of like, you know, like in my home. Like if you're giving me a candle, I want it to be in my home and not say like, you know, Susan and Jeff's wedding 2026. Like, I don't want that. So I agree. I feel like it needs to be a more intentional favor, but I do love a favor.
Yes, yeah. I love a freebie or like a little take home. It's funny, it's almost like when one person in your life does it, it's cool, but then suddenly when like 10 people are doing it and you have like a koozie drawer in your kitchen, and then you're like, okay, I get it. We have a million koozies with your name on it. If I had one, I'd be like, this is so cool. But that's just kind of the way with trends, is when you sniff out that something's happening and then everyone does it, and then there's a huge reversion back to the other side. But I think my main thing is that people should just do whatever they want to do and not feel like it's a box you have to check to keep up with the times or kind of keep up with the Joneses in a way. Like, think about it. Do you want to do it? If the answer is no, then don't do it.
And if it's an Etsy candle, do not bring it to me.
Don't come at Sarah with an Etsy candle.
Do not want to see your Etsy candles.
Note to self, do not give Sarah a candle for her wedding.
Candles, yes, but like personalized candles, like the little cheap ones, you know, the ones that in the
I know. I have a few that I received over the years. Yeah.
And they're probably like hidden in a drawer with the koozies.
Yeah.
Okay, moving into our next segment. So these are all brought to you by Reddit Brides, breaking down the current bride questions and concerns for 2026. And we've got quite a few of them. So we're just going to jump right in. First one. This one's entitled Modern Etiquette. I just started planning my wedding and cannot figure out what the rules are these days. Who pays for what? Do I have to give everyone a +1? Should kids be allowed? Bridal party expectations this day and age? ?
Oh man, she's hitting. I assumed it was a woman. I'm sorry about that. But that person is bringing up a lot of great questions.
A lot of good questions. We actually touched on this today in our Instagram post, which was like, and I would encourage everybody to go look at that post because there's a coinciding blog post with it, and it actually had great info on just like where to start before you actually jump into wedding planning, because these are the questions that come up. And so it was talking about how like pay attention to like how many guests you want, what your actual budget is, like break all these things down before you even jump into the planning process. Otherwise you end up like this poor bride who is like, I don't know what to do. And now you're in over your head.
Yeah, it is interesting when you have not planned a wedding before and you're not in the industry, or maybe you're the first of your friends. And so it's not like a common conversation that you're having.
Yeah.
Because I think there is a line between like etiquette things and then norms, and then more fluid, you can kind of do whatever you want. Like, and then there's etiquette things that have kind of waxed and waned about whether you're supposed to do them or not. Like the time frame to send thank you cards. Does it need to be within the month after receiving the gift, or can it be the year after receiving the gift? Or like, what form should the thank you card take? Is an email okay, or is a handwritten note okay? Like, yeah. So I think there's some things to kind of reflect on whether you think you care about it or whether your audience cares.
It's so tricky because weddings are so, and I tell brides this all the time, because it's almost like they ask vendors. I'm a photographer, so it could be specific to that because they're booking us as one of the like first vendors. But I get so many brides who look to me being like, you know the answer, you're a wedding vendor. And I'm like, yeah, but every single event is totally different.
Yeah.
I'm like, you can't compare like a, 5-person elopement in Yosemite to a 250-person ballroom wedding. It's just not even comparable at all. And so I feel like that's the hard part, is like there is no playbook when you're starting to wedding plan. And like when it comes down to like contributions and stuff, it's like, okay, maybe one family wants to contribute more, maybe one family can't. Like maybe the couple wants to pay for everything, maybe they don't have the funds to pay for anything. You don't even know. So all of these things are like so dependent on like your own circumstances.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a great tip for people to think deeply about, is like your first reaction should not be, what are other people doing? Your first reaction should be, what do I want to do? And what can my family get behind in terms of what we're doing? Because I think the day and age of like the groom side pays for the welcome or the rehearsal dinner and the bride side pays for the wedding, I think that's sort of faded. I don't do you hear that talked about amongst your clients at all?
Well, it's actually funny. We just had this conversation with like my own wedding because we were like, okay, how are people breaking this down this day and age? And even myself as a wedding vendor went on ChatGPT and I was like, what are people? Because I had the same thought where I was just like, that to me feels like a very, like, I look at like my parents' wedding day and age, like 80s and stuff like that. And like, that was very much the tradition, but also that's just it. There were a lot more traditions happening back then. And the cost of throwing a wedding was a fraction of what it is now.
Yeah. Can you imagine like if that was the split now, that would mean that one family pays for the rehearsal dinner, welcome dinner. Okay, that's this much. And then the other family pays for the whole wedding. That is so outsized of a contribution.
Correct. And that was the conversation that we ended up having with both of our parents, was because my family my parents are very old school. So they did initially go into it being like, oh, like bride's family pays for the wedding and like everything like that. But then you start planning a wedding and I'm like, okay, you move into the 6-figure category real fast.
Yeah.
And then you have other family members or like the other side of the family, like groom's side of the family, who wants to add more people in and stuff. And I'm like, hold on. Now we have to have a conversation about like, how are we covering all of these guest costs and who's paying for who and all of this. I ended up calling like 3 of my friends who'd gotten married in the last like 3 years. And I was like, what was the breakdown here? Like, how did you guys do it? And we came up pretty good. I feel like we kind of hit the new trend on the head, which is like groom's family definitely still pays for welcome party, whatever that looks like. And then bride's family pays for a majority of the wedding day. But then when it comes down to like individual guest cost, we created like an actual guest cost of like, hey, this is what it costs per person for like catering, alcohol, and rentals.
Yeah.
And then that became like the basis for like, hey, like, okay, we used our budget how we see fit. If, mom or dad or whoever wants to add more people on top of that, then it's like, okay, then match that guest cost for that person.
Oh, interesting. That's so concrete.
Right? Well, and it takes all of the like feelings and everything out of it. That was what I loved, because I was just like, hey, here's the full breakdown. This is where we allocated everything we wanted to, and we wanted it to be like a 100-person event. And then obviously you're going to have parents who have feelings and other relatives and people who want to be included. And so it became very simple. We just like told our parents, I was like, hey, if you want, 20 more people to come, this is the cost per head. If you want to pay it, great, we'll add them in. If not, awesome, we're done.
Yeah, that's such a great way to do it, because then it's making it so specific to the people who are paying. Like,
yes,
this is the dollar amount you're asking us as the group to take on, and are you willing to do that? And I actually haven't heard that technique used that much. I feel like it's more so like an emotional debate about whether that person is special enough or involved enough to be invited to the wedding. But making it really concrete, I think, is a great way. Know your family, but that's a great way to do it.
Yeah, no, I think it was hugely helpful for us, just because I was like, okay, obviously there's a lot of feelings that go into wedding planning. And I was like, what if we took the feelings out of it and just made it like, hey, here's the financial breakdown of everything. Like, you want to pay more, you want your people to come, great, do it. I'm going to pay for my people, you pay for your people, done.
Yeah. And we're also saying bride and groom side, but we mean, the world of partners and people and everyone. But just make an inclusive note.
Absolutely. Okay, so in answer to her questions, unfortunately,
to sum it up, you got this.
To sum it up, good luck. And every single, just make it what you want. That would be my biggest advice, is make it what you want, and take the time to map it out prior to getting into the weeds of wedding planning, for sure. Okay, number 2. this kind of ties in. Okay. Wedding planning is much more tedious than I initially thought. How do I deal with the stress, overthinking, and obsession with planning? I still have 7 months to go and it is absolutely consuming me. Help.
Yeah. So, okay, when we first started wedding planning, someone gave me the tip, which is to only plan when you're planning and then take days off when you're specifically not going to think about the wedding at all. And when I heard that piece of advice, I was like, that seems so odd. Like, it seems really intense. Why would I need to be so intense about such something to be positive and fun and lighthearted? And I did not get it at all. And then once we were in the weeds of planning, I was like, okay, that makes sense. I understand this now, but I would recommend that to anyone. Like, if you have a date night or you have, a certain time you spend with your partner, carve it out as a non-wedding thing and even impose it on your parents or your family members. Be like, I'm so excited to hang with you tonight. We're not going to talk wedding because this is Wednesday and we never talk weddings on Wednesday, or, whatever you want to say. But put those boundaries out there. Make sure you have your time free.
I fully agree. My wedding planner actually gave us some unbelievable bit of advice, which was, she was like, okay, once a week, pick a night and make it like, your most chill night out of the work week. And that is the night where you guys sit down and like handle all of the, outstanding decisions or like contracts, whatever you have to get done for wedding planning. Do it once a week and then that's it. And then her other bit of advice to keep it like fun is she was like, okay, you guys are getting married on the 15th. So like the 15th of every month leading up to the wedding, plan like a really fun date night.
Oh, I love that.
Right? And she was like, and like go out and like do not do wedding planning, but like use that as like, to plan like a fun date night and like keep it light and fun and kind of switches it up. Cause I feel like for a while we were using date nights as wedding planning nights.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's not fun. So that bit of advice was like very fun. And so now the 15th of every month, we're like doing date night.
That is cute.
Yeah.
What else does it helps solidify your remembering your anniversary number.
Yes.
For us, we can offer the life of us because we got married in the middle of COVID. So it used to be the 25th and then it was the 26th, the Saturday, like a year out. And I literally could not tell you, was it the 25th or the 26th? I don't remember. Okay. It was complicated.
It was one or the other. Just celebrate both.
One of those. We have so many anniversaries. We have our dating anniversary, our first elopement, and then our actual wedding. So we have three anniversaries.
It's hysterical. We'll see, but more reason to go on more date nights.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Dress code drama. Oh, I relate to this one heavily. Okay. Dress code drama. I'm being called a bridezilla by my friends and family because I made a dress code for my wedding. I initially did this because I love the clarity that a dress code gives me as a guest, but it doesn't seem to be resonating with my guest list.
Did you write this yourself and put it on Reddit?
No, but I could have because I'm having the same exact dilemma, which is I thought by putting out a guest list, or not a guest list, a dress code, that I was helping people. And yet for some people, I feel like for like the creative half, people are like, yes, I'm so excited. Like everyone's picking out dresses, sending me like, what if I did this? We were at dinner with my parents' friends the other day and my dad's best friend was like, oh, I'm going to Dallas. I've already recruited my like old college roommate who has like fabulous taste and like, we're going to go shopping. And he's already picking out like leather vests and like crazy things. Like, see, that's what I want to hear. Like, that is what I picture because that's how I would handle it. But then I look at other people who I'm like, okay, fashion is not, your forte and you want to just wear black to every event and that stuff. And I'm like, and I'm realizing that I'm pushing people way out of their comfort zone. For reference, my dress code is like wildflower formal.
Which I'm obsessed with. And I was like looking at dresses almost a year in advance.
See, so it's like, it's one or the other. It's like either people are like, oh my gosh, yes, like I have something to run with and are like really executing it. Or I'm met with like 10,000 questions.
Yeah. Are people coming to you or are they coming to your mom or your sister? Or like,
I wish they were going to mom. No, it's just me. It's just me. And that's been like the other thing that Trevor and I talk about a lot is I'm like, people are really bold with like what they feel like they can bother you with about your own wedding.
Yeah.
Like, that has been the most shocking part of wedding planning, like as a whole, is just how comfortable people are being like, hey, so I know you said no kids, but like mine can come, right? And I'm like, now you're putting me in this position to have this awful conversation. And like, it's just so much confrontation that I didn't foresee happening.
Yeah. My mom, similar to this, my mom was making me laugh the other day because my dad was the officiant of a wedding in January. And my mom was going because, I mean, I think the couple, they know my dad mainly, and my mom was obviously invited because he's officiating. But my mom was calling the bride to ask her about what she should wear, or like was like running a dress idea by her. And Mom, if you're listening, I'm saying this with full love, but it made me laugh because like the officiant's partner talking to the bride, like it was a very direct connection. And sure, maybe it was like relevant to ask, but also like, I don't think that she cares what you're gonna wear. Like, just pick something that's in the realm of the dress code. Like, it's really pointing out how much validation people want that they're doing the right thing, which in some lights, in the more positive variation, is great because people care enough that they want you to like what they're doing. But also, like, I think people should also realize that you are an adult and just take this direction, internalize it, reflect on it. You could even research it and then make your own decision.
At GPT. GPT. I'm like, there's so many, we're getting hit with so many questions where I'm just like, they could ask, you know, a daughter, a friend, anybody but me. I'm like, I'm already having decision overload. I don't then need to be concerned about like my mom's best friend's skirt that she's wearing to the wedding. I'm like, take that out of the mix.
So as you're getting these questions, are you putting the answer to those questions on your wedding website?
No. I should. We did. Okay, that was the other thing, was initially when we did go through our wedding website, I made like a huge Q&A list and then very quickly realized that nobody's even looking at that. Like, people are still texting me being like, where do I RSVP? And I'm like, on the wedding website. Like, nobody's even looking at the wedding website to begin with, even though I spent so much time and like put all the Q&As in there. And then when I actually went through it again, because at first I was doing that. And so the Q&A list was getting huge. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, if I saw this for the first time,
it needs like a table of contents.
And so then I like pared it down to just like kind of be more general. Mm-hmm. Like, we're not doing kids. So like there's a thing on that. Just like, so sorry. If we did do kids, we would literally have to have like 65 kids. Because now we're in our 30s and like everybody has at least one baby, sometimes two. Yeah, but there's just so many things that no, I cut it off of the wedding website, and I'm just like putting in key players. Like, my sister is unbelievable, so I'm like, ask Jane, ask mom, like, ask dad, delegate.
Yeah, you know, did you do this on the website? Maybe you could do like, for attire questions, text this person. For logistical questions, text this person. For
unbelievable idea.
Like, delegate certain categories and then the person they should call for that thing.
Like a hotline.
Yes, a hotline. Like, for hotel and travel, call my dad. For attire, call. Yeah, that would be, I feel like you should do.
We are onto something.
Yeah.
Oh, wedding question hotlines. That's what we're going to do. I love that. Okay. Budget stress and money panic. My 25K budget has somehow turned into 40K. I completely underestimated taxes, service fees, gratuities, and the cost of outfits alone. What do I do?
Yeah, this is actually, we also just did a little post on this on Instagram.
Yes, we did.
Already, please go to the Planet Instagram.
Put out
a lot of good tips, just gonna say. Okay, well, first of all, it's crazy that 25K in this day and age can't get you what you're looking for, because that is a good amount of money, but they're having to double it, which to me means that maybe you needed to do like a beat more research before you started doing this, because that's not an insignificant delta in your budget. So like what all has led to that? Is it one big thing? Like your venue was somehow like way more than you thought, or was it like a bunch of little things? Because I feel like when I hear expenses and stuff, that's like you did one too many credit card charges with some 3% like transaction fees, not you're almost doubling your entire budget.
Yeah.
So I feel like I need more info.
Yeah, there's not enough info. I will say the service fees and things like that. I'm doing my wedding in a tax-free state, but I work in California, and so I charge people taxes all the time for my own wedding services. That has been my one takeaway is I'm like, damn, you save a lot of money by doing stuff in a tax-free state, because just like the number you see is the number you get. Whereas in California, the number that I'm sending people, I'm like, you're still going to get hit with like, it's $1,500 more than what you think it is.
Yeah.
So I get it, but also that is something that should have been planned for ahead of time. I think I will say on the outfit cost, that one got me as well.
With the tailoring and everything.
Tailoring, not even just that, but like the way that we have our like wedding weekend set up. So like the first night, we actually just changed the name. It was originally Boots and Bow Ties, and then people were taking it to this weird kind of like, I don't know. Everyone thought it was like way more formal than it was. Like people were like, is it black tie? And I was like, no, it's at a brewery. So we switched it to Boots and Bolos, as in like bow ties.
Yeah.
So that gives everybody the idea that it's a little more like kitschy and fun Western, I think.
Yeah.
But when it came down to like our own outfits for these events, I was like, okay, we need to be best dressed, obviously. I love fashion. That doesn't help anything. And so like last night, we literally sat there ordering, like, we ordered Trevor a really cool suit for the night before that has like embroidery on all sleeves and like crazy. Like by the time we finished shopping, I'm like, we just spent like $10,000.
Wait, what is your outfit? Not, maybe you don't have to say as much.
I don't know. I would love to talk about it. So my dad, this is cute. My dad went to Austin not long ago for like work, and he found these white cowgirl boots that they're embroidered. So there's like peonies on them and hummingbirds and like all this stuff. And he was like, hey, that's your birth flower, and hummingbirds are good luck. And I was like, that's horrible. So dad kind of jump started like this entire thing for the night before. And we turned it into this like kitschy cowboy kind of theme. And then Trevor and I went to Whitefish not long ago. There's a new vlog on that up on the Planner Instagram as well. But we made hats. And so I made my hat for the night before. So I'm going with this like pale pink and white embroidered everything vibe. I don't have a dress yet, but because everything else on me is like so crazy, I think it's just going to have to be like very cool, but like white, short, something like that. I don't know.
I love that. For our Carmel wedding, the big one, I don't know why, sometimes I'm sensitive to things that feel corny, and I just felt like the wearing white at every event as the bride, I just was like trying to figure out how to do that in a way that felt like my personality. And so and I like color and, vibrant, bold things. And so for the welcome party, I wore this really fun kind of knit orange dress, but now which I loved. It was super cute. I'll put a little photo here, but I kind of wish I had done a white dress because because you just don't get to wear white that often, I feel. And there's so many cute, like short, fun, maybe the design is totally different than your wedding dress, but I kind of feel like I missed a teensy little opportunity to just like lean into being the bride, which I was sensitive of, like, I don't know. I just had in my mind, like, I don't want to be too annoying or like too like I'm the center. But then I look back, I'm like, you know what, girl, you were. So maybe just lean into it more.
Yeah. I had the same exact internal debate. And then Trevor made a really good point, and he was like, well, here's the thing. Like, all of our guests are taking this like very seriously. They're dressing up. And I'm like, you're right. So because of that, I'm like, okay, if I did go, I wanted to go hot pink originally. And he was like, okay, that's fine. But then like you could have guests that like also show up in hot pink. And I'm like, you're right. And he's like, but you can ensure that no one's showing up in white.
Yeah.
And I'm like, ooh.
Well, or can you, in my case?
Right. Unless you're Hannah, then you can't.
If you don't know what we're talking about, someone at our wedding wore a long lace gown that was white. And maybe if I'm feeling up to it, I'll put a picture here.
True. Yeah. Maybe somebody will show up in white. Who knows? But I did like thinking about it like that because I was the same way. I was just like, ugh, like white everything is kind of like over. It just bores me. I don't know why. I think because I like color so much.
Yeah.
And then once we did his whole, we actually just went and did Trevor's, like he's getting a custom tux made. So we got to go pick all the pieces, which was really fun. We did that. I was like, okay, that taught me a lot because like, yes, it's a black tux, but like, not to give everything away, but his like actual fabric that we picked, when he turns, there's like flowers in it.
Oh,
so
cool.
You can't see it from like straight on. So from straight on, it's like black tux. And then he starts moving and there's like flowers on the tux, which is kind of cool.
That's awesome.
Once we started doing that, I was like, okay, you can still do like white and black traditionally as like bride and groom, but make it fun.
Yeah.
And so now I think I'm going white. Same with the boots. The boots was tough for wedding day because originally I was like, I don't really want to be in white cowgirl boots because that to me is just like tacky. I don't know why. I'm very anti-white boots. Trevor was like, yeah, but it's like the only time where like you can be in that whole outfit. I'm like, yeah, you're right. So we ordered some last night. We'll see if they look good. I don't know.
Yeah. I was on TikTok the other day and this girl was talking about all the things that she's not subscribing to in the wedding world. And one of them was not having uncomfortable shoes or not like spending a long time thinking about her wedding shoes because no one's going to see them anyway. And I was like, you're not wrong. Like,
she's not
unless your dress is showing the shoe more or something, it's probably floor length and you're probably going to see even just the peep of your toe.
Yeah.
So like wear whatever you want.
My issue is I have a huge slit, like thigh high slit and outside. And I'm like, okay, if you have a thigh high slit and you're doing it on a horse ranch, you kind of need sick ass boots, you know?
Mm-hmm. That's true. You do.
And there was a minute there where I almost went. So my entire personal brand is cheetah print. Everything is cheetah print. Like everything that I buy, if there's an option to buy something in cheetah print, I will buy it in cheetah print. And so my mom found cheetah print boots and she was like, for the wedding. And I was like, I'm going to do it. And then we actually like put it together and I was like, I can't do it. Can't do it. There will be an outfit change and I will be in cheetah print boots at some point.
Yes, I can see that.
Yeah. Okay, last one for our lovely Reddit brides. Venue regret. Oh, this is a good one. Our venue coordinator is not helpful. Did we make a mistake? I think I was under the impression that they would be more helpful in the planning process. Should I have hired a wedding planner instead? Yes.
Yes, you should.
Yes. What I will say about this from a vendor perspective who works with venues all the time that supply day of coordinators.
Yeah.
I feel like what a lot of people don't even realize is that those day of coordinators are actually just kind of like hourly employees of the venue.
Yeah.
And so they don't care about your wedding. As bad as that sounds, they don't care. They are showing up to a job and they usually don't know much about your wedding or the planning that's gone into it or anything until like the day of. They're presented with like a timeline and then are helping you through it. But I see a lot of brides who view them as like, oh, that's the person that's going to like do everything for me. And it's like, no, that's not really the case. They are there for the venue's sake and coordinating like, you know, where catering shows up to and offloading things and stuff like that. But they're not really a key part of your actual day. So I think it's imperative that people hire. It doesn't even need to be a full wedding planner, but at least like a day of coordinator or something like that. Out whatever your venue supplies.
Totally. I think it comes down to who is this person advocating for at the end of the day, and the wedding planner that you hire and bring in or coordinator, even if it's a day of coordinator that's super light touch, they are advocating for you to have the best day possible and best experience possible. at the end of the day, the venue person is advocating for the venue, and they are going to do what's in the venue's best interest. And ideally, those things are aligned, but I think there's some instances where that might not be the case. And you want someone who's going to be ensuring that you have the best day possible. And also, a lot of these venues have such like tight staff that that person might be running around doing a million things, both leading up to your wedding and on the day. And you might need someone to like hold the train of your dress, or like quickly steam something, or go talk to a guest about something, and they don't have time to do it.
Yep.
So yeah, I would be very cautious about fully leaning on the venue coordinator, unless that's like a package tier that they offer and they are like specifically articulating that that's what they offer, rather than like they are there at the venue and then you're just assuming they're going to do a bunch of stuff for you, because I don't think that they like that.
And what I will say is a lot of the venue coordinators are like very junior people who have not been in the industry long. I see that all the time as a vendor who does weddings all the time. There's so many people who like, they don't even know like the ins and outs of how a wedding operates. And so then they're asking us, the vendors, how to like best assist. But a lot of younger, new people, it's a great intro job for someone getting into the wedding industry, but I would not bank on them to run your entire day.
Yeah. And that's really why Plannered also works with venues, not to do like a quick aside, but venues can use Plannered to make an entire checklist of tasks that are related specifically to your venue. And it helps to draw a boundary between, this is everything you need to know about our venue, this is what we're going to do, and this is what you're going to do, and make it super clear, rather than just sending like a really long spreadsheet or a long set of documents and then like hurling it over the fence to the couple. This is like integrated into when you need to look at it month by month leading up to your event. So if you're a venue person and you're listening to this, or if you're a couple, like that's why we do
what we're here for. I love it. Speaking of loving it, okay, next is we're gonna run this out with a little love it or leave it.
Excellent.
Okay. First one, doing no bridal party at all. Love it or leave it.
Well, if you know me from whatever episode this is, you know that I had 12 bridesmaids. So I mean, here's the thing. Picking a bridal party is sort of like the real life top MySpace, like your top 8 on your MySpace page. And if you don't want to put yourself or your community in that position to be like picking people, then just saying you're not going to do a bridal party at all is actually a great way to just not even go there. Or like choose your sister or your cousin or your like one best friend to fill that role if you don't want to do it. But I wanted a huge party. I didn't mind that there were a bunch of girls. I was like one of the first of my friends to get married, so people weren't over it yet. And so I don't know if it was posed as small party or big party. Bridal party in general, I'm gonna say love it.
This is okay. I'm gonna be very careful with how I word this. I needed to put people in their place. So I ended up doing a bridal party. And this is like new. Like we are 6 months from our wedding. And I was
gonna say, wait, is this new information?
New info. Because originally we were team no bridal party whatsoever. The issue with that, and I love all of my friends for this, but it then leaves open interpretation of how close someone thinks they are with you. So all of a sudden I had people coming out of the woodworks being like, oh, so like when we're getting ready day of, and I was like,
the getting ready situation, that is key.
And I was like, oh no. And I'm like, and then I talked to one of my best friends who she just got married a few years ago. And she was like, okay, I think you need to implement a bridal party just so that it kind of puts like a barrier between you and everyone.
Yes.
And I was like, I agree. And so I asked my 2 best friends who I planned on getting ready with regardless to be my like co-maids of honor. And then I asked my 2 sisters and Trevor's sister to be my bridesmaids. And that is what we're doing. So like, is there a bridal party? Necessarily, not really, but yes. And so now it makes it very easy because it's just like, oh, like it's an out for me because I can be like, oh, for getting ready, like we're just doing the bridal party that morning, you know, it's like kind of I used it as a boundary. I hid behind my people, but I had no issue making the MySpace top 8 because I was getting overwhelmed by just everyone assuming that they were going to like do whatever they wanted. And so I'm now love it on the bridal party thing.
Are they going to stand up there with you, or they're just in designation alone?
Okay, that's my other controversial topic. I canceled my ceremony. Not entirely. I canceled the grand ceremony aspect of it because, and this is totally venue specific, but I did not like where the ceremony would have had to be. It would have had to be like down this hill. It's going to be hot. It's gravel. I'm like, so we're going to have to walk like half a mile. There's no bathrooms down there and they can't get bathrooms down there. And I'm like, all of this just to like be down there for 15 minutes and then have to have everybody walk back up.
Yeah.
And that was like the one part of the day that was stressing Trevor and I out the most. And I was like, okay, we sat down on the 15th when we were doing date night. And we were like, what makes this more fun for us? Like, what do we envision this being? And I was like, I just want to hang out with people. And so now, I guess Planner is getting the exclusive here because a lot of people don't even know this. But now we're the ones that like welcome people. So like when they get off the bus, it's like us with drinks.
Ew.
And goes straight into cocktail hour, which is going to confuse people in a great way. Plus, there's like a ton to do because we're doing it at a ranch and there's going to be horses everywhere and like things to do and see. I was like, I'm going to be a part of that. And so now we're leading with cocktail hour first. And then like 20 minutes before everybody would be moving into the reception anyways, we're going to like surprise everyone. So there's no like seating for the ceremony, but my sister's going to like have the mic and like we're going to do it in the center of everyone, but everyone's just going to be like standing around us.
Wow, this is so cool. This is
huge. Huge. Yeah, we came a long way. So no for like people standing up there with us. No, because we completely got rid of the ceremony and thousands. So because they were like, we're gonna have to bring in like all of this stuff to create the ceremony site down by the river, which is like a pain in the ass to get to. I would have had to come in on a horse, which is fine. I just like, and I love horses. I have two. I am a confident rider, but in a big ass dress, I was like, I can't ride side saddle. I could try, but I don't know how to.
Yeah.
Dress hanging off the horse, dress getting dirty because of the horse, all of the pieces that came with that. I was like, how can I make this as easy as possible?
Yeah, I'm a 90s kid and I watched a lot of America's Funniest Home Video, and I feel like there are a lot of wedding related horse entrances that didn't go well. So I support you not doing it.
That's exactly what I said to Trevor. I was like, here's the thing. I would be the one where like the horse like steps on the skirt and then it rips off and
your dress just like comes off.
Yeah. And I'm just like bare ass on a horse. Like that's what I picture. I had like multiple stress screams about this to the point where I was like, we can't do it. And they're like, we could get you a carriage. And I'm like, that's too like Cinderella-y. I was like, that also isn't my vibe. I don't want to get on a carriage. That's weird. So we nixed it entirely and we're gonna see how it, I mean, I've worked 300 plus weddings. I've never seen it done like this, which is kind of exciting to me. But we'll see if it goes off or if people hate it.
Yeah, well, I applaud you doing like making a change that feels right for your wedding and not being like, we must fit in the box. Like do something that feels right and actually celebrates your values of I want to spend time with my guests and hang with them as much as possible and be able to just like soak up every moment. So
yes. Be in the action. That's what we're going for.
You do whatever makes you feel good. I have like 5+ weddings on the calendar right now. So I'm very excited to see how there's my cousin's wedding in May, yours, and then another one, then one in September, and then one in December, and then one in January. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Crazy that you have winter ones.
Yes. Okay. I talked about this in the Martha Stewart wedding article that just came out recently, which I was honored to be a part of, but winter vibe weddings are really on the rise. And not just because they're cheaper but because people are like intentionally seeking out those vibes and they want to have that as their setting. So I think it's awesome. Yeah.
I love it. And actually that's funny because we have a couple other weddings and they're all fall or winter. Like ours is the only summer one that we have on our calendar.
Yeah, you were actually reminding me about the welcome festivities. Now I have a whole new outfit to look for.
See?
I'm so excited.
You do have permission to text me your outfits.
Okay, good. I needed that validation.
It's more so like it's like when it's my friends, I'm like, yes, like tell me everything I want to know. It's when it's like the plus ones of people or like people who I haven't met where I'm like, I can't gauge your style. You know what I mean? And then it's like, I don't know. Like, is that something that you would like to wear? Like, if you don't know the person, that's weird.
Yeah. It's like, do you like that skirt? Then go for it. It's not white, so I love it for you.
Yeah, but like when my actual friends text me and are like, okay, what do you think? I'm like, yes, like I need all the inspo.
I agree with that. Yeah. Well, as always, if you made it this far in the episode, you're definitely part of our plannered family. We have some pretty cool guests coming up, I just want to say. So definitely stay tuned for that, and we will see you next time.